And we're back. We're back with another episode of the Vet, the Bet, the Casual. Fresh off of UFC 256. What a card that was. Just a stacked lineup. And honestly, it lived up to all the hype. Well, you know, great card right there. In terms of posted plays, we went 2-1. We did decide to go against the Beaver Bias.
So funny. Like, I do want to touch on that just because, like, I gotta say, you know, I honestly watched Billy Quarantino's last fight, and I was like, I don't see what everybody's talking about. I don't know why we watched Gavin Tucker do so well against Justin James, and then not. It's just
go against.
What did we do? But in any case, you know, you live and learn. Pies, nobody can go perfect, even us. So keep going on. You know, it is what it is.
The funny thing is, anybody who watched our video on Tucker last week is probably like, "Oh, these boys were definitely on Gavin Tucker." There's no doubt about it.
And that's all we need.
Hopefully you didn't see our posted plays, but you know, we did go 2-1 in those. Our lone loss was the Quarantillo man himself. Otherwise, you know, it was a very great card. We actually went 7-3. The one thing I wanted to touch on is, you know, you did kind of leave those main events up to me, and my leans were Ferguson and they were Figueiredo. I got to give you the hype, man. I got to give you the credit there. Both of them, you went against me. You know, Oliveira won handedly. Like, that wasn't even close. I love Ferguson. You love Ferguson. I know this. And so kudos to you for kind of putting that bias aside, really breaking down that fight and exposing how good Oliveira was. And then on the flip side, Moreno, in my opinion, won the fight too. Watching that fight, if you're giving that extra point to him for what Figueiredo was doing, Moreno won that fight. So great call on that as well. That was not a minus 350 favorite. I got to give kudos to you for that main event.
So actually, you know what? Just because you brought it up, you know what? If there's one thing Paisan has taught me, it's to not do the I told you so's and not do the gloating. So what I actually want to talk about here is primarily the technical aspects of these fights, right? So what did we think Charles Oliveira would be good at? Fundamentally, he was able to have his way with Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson was not able to get off his back. Tony Ferguson was not able to pepper him with strikes. Tony Ferguson was not able to get in the clinch and land some damaging elbows to help him get it to the later rounds to maybe score himself a finish or at least a close decision. That's the part that kind of really took me away even, because I didn't expect Charles Oliveira to look like that. But again, we talked about the come up. That's the thing about Charles Oliveira. I've watched him get punched in the face regularly as a 20-year-old to just lock in one final submission and get the win. Been through the pain with them. This is our time. October 17th birthday, here we come. 2021 is our year. And it's really just about that, right? Like his climb, we talked about it. There's certain guys that have beaten him in his career. Tony Ferguson lined up very well, might have even been the best version of those guys. We saw that Charles Oliveira at 30 plus now is very much ready for the top of the crop type fighters, and I'm very excited to watch him fight. Going back to what you said about the main event, I don't think you're actually that wrong. So I personally looked into the stats of that. I looked into what some of the pundits and things of that sort were saying, and you know what? If you look at the way the judges had scored the round, funny enough, the last round was a round that is kind of unanimously said to go to Davison Figueiredo, which means that there's the one judge who did not give it to him, and had he given him the fifth round, you would have actually won that fight. Just so you know, there was actually one judge that did not give him that round, and that's the only reason it's a draw. So had that judge given Figueiredo the fifth round win, which he actually did earn fair and square, Figueiredo would have retained the championship on points.
Yeah, absolutely. But man, Moreno was impressive. And something else that you kind of just touched on is, you know, the up and coming, the preparation. It holds so much value now with the amount of fights people are getting in. And I think that's case in point with that Jacare Souza and Kevin Holland fight. It's like, you know, Souza comes in with that veteran, you know, mojo, that should be able to handle it. But some of these up and comers are not to be messed with, man. And Kevin Holland is just one of those guys. Same thing that we've kind of run into with Joaquin Buckley as well. Like, they're learning fast and they are executing.
I think you hit it best with the hunger of a fighter that is getting this opportunity. I think we're seeing a clear-cut example of fighters who are under contract, who do it for a living, who are taking fights, and guys who are thriving under this circumstance. There is a huge difference right now in that regard, and Kevin Holland, you sniped that. I believe his improvement since some of the fights that we've seen, very surprising losses, but you know, to see what he did to Jacare, to knock him like that. You know, it's funny, the one punch very in the beginning, you see him wobbling, you're like, yo, this is hectic. Oh my God, wow. And I'm a little disappointed in us for even going against Kevin Holland because, you know, we did see size. We did see ground skills. But yo, Kevin Holland came to fight. Travis Lutter, right? Travis Lutter, old school grappler in the UFC. He came to play. Show off his coach really well. I think overall that was a great card for us, but you know, little lapses of judgment in the heat of the moment. If you remember, there was something really excited we were wanting to touch on. They released the rankings in the UFC today, and so if you think about it, I just want you to know, I'm gonna kick this off right now. Khabib is still the champion and at the top. Wow. Justin Gaethje is
deservedly.
Yep, Justin Gaethje is number 1. Number 2 is Poirier. Can you guess who number 3 is now? Up 4 spots.
Mr. Holland himself, eh?
Oh, Charles Oliveira, lightweight, my man. We got Charles. Wow. Charles Oliveira's number 3 now. Pushed. We got Tony Ferguson dropping to number 4, and then everybody else just kind of dropped 1 spot because Oliveira just jumped them all. So Dos Anjos moves to 7th in the UFC. Dan Hooker moves to 6th. Conor McGregor moves to 5th, and Tony sits at 4th with Oliveira looking like he's gonna get, you know, that number 1 title shot whenever that comes around. That whole division in itself, you know, that top 3 is gonna.
I was gonna say, man, I was actually gonna touch on it later, but that division is so stacked. It's insane. Like it could be split into 2 and have championship quality caliber along the way.
And questions, right? So it's like, you know, Dana White is just so convinced that Khabib is gonna come back, and that here we go, right? No one's getting stripped. No one's fighting for this, you know, like at the end of the day, we're going to get to see the Conor Poirier matchup. But outside of that, like it's a pretty wide open division in that sense. And I think we're seeing Charles Oliveira kind of make his name.
And a very entertaining one at that as well.
That's what I'm saying.
Anything else you want to touch on UFC 256 before we move on to this exciting new card that we got coming up this weekend?
To be honest, in looking at the rankings quite quickly, I just want to see if anything jumped out at us. You know, since it is Tuesday, we get them live. Honestly, I think that's the biggest one. And you got Kevin Holland now, you know, top 10, if you want to kind of jump on that, up 5 spots. So, you know, Chris Weidman's out of the top 10, Edmund Shabazian out of the top 10, and there's Kevin Holland just sitting right there, you know. I think that's
good for him.
A beautiful one to touch on. But outside of that, you know, Kevin Holland, Charles Oliveira, big movements coming out of that weekend.
Overall, it's going to be a great card. Tune in UFC this Saturday, December 19th. For us, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button, give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter. Our picks go up all of there, along with all of our other content, you know, clips of our videos from YouTube. Other great MMA content is on the Kaizen MMA. Make sure you check it all out. Give us a follow, give us a subscribe, give us a comment, engage in conversation, whatever you may want to do to kind of further this. Anything else, Siraj?
No, man, everything. You just hit nail on the head. Like, let's finish the year strong. This is the last fight card for us. You know, we're going to be going real hard at this one, just to have some fun with it. We're really excited for the next couple of weeks to be able to develop, you know, our niche, our, market. It's going to be really fun for us. And so we're really excited for 2021. And, if we don't really, since we don't have a card, as the vet, the bet, and the casual, happy holidays, happy Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see you for the next card. But, maybe we get you some new content in that time. We shall see.
Yeah, perfect. You said it best, man. Happy holidays to everybody. Thank you for all your support. And Siraj, great seeing you as always, man.
You, my boy. I love you. Peace.
Take care.